What's going on, everyone? We got an exciting video for you all today. I have been getting so many people asking about Cal Kestis, and so many of you are upset that he got stuffed as a 3-4 deploy for 4. He is interesting, and I do think he's got some things going for him, and that's what we're here to exploit and hopefully get some wins. Before we do, a big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon, and also I have a TCG player link in the description down below for all of you to pick up all your set 5 cards. But what do we do with Cal Kestis? Well, first off, we have this action to use the Force. An opponent chooses a ready unit they control. They have to exhaust that unit. If it didn't have that first clause, this ability would be pretty much useless. But the fact that at least you exhaust a ready unit can be very good in some circumstances. The fact that your opponent can choose which unit makes it a little bit weaker, but it can definitely do some work, especially if your opponent is relying on only a couple units in their early curve to actually get there. So because of that, we got to use the Force, which means Temple of Destruction is kind of the most guaranteed way. In Cunning Aggression, there are a couple Force units that are in the earlier stages, but honestly, the 3 power benchmark is a lot easier to get than having a bunch of Force units in Cunning Aggression without them being like kind of subpar in most situations. So we got Temple of Destruction. The 3 HP loss isn't that big of a deal because we're deploying on 4. We got to win fast. So what do we get to take advantage of with Force? Well, the most important card, to be honest, is Trust Your Instincts. This card's actually an amazing one, but it's just hard to fit into the cutting strategy. Use the Force if you do attack with a unit, gets +2/+0 and deals combat damage before the attacker, or the defender rather. This is basically a bigger shoot first. And if you don't even have a target, you can just hit base with this, and it's still 1 resource for +2/+0. That's still incredible, and it's going to regain you the Force because of Cal Kestis with Temple of Destruction. We also have Sorcerous Blast, really nice early game interaction, can help us whittle down some units to make sure our action from Cal Kestis gets a little bit better, and Infused Brawler, which can come down as a 4/4. And again, that's just enough to get us some value for us to close out the game a little bit quicker. And we also have Vernestra, which readies up immediately alongside Millennium Falcon for some really nice readied up damage. Now, one of the things that we really need in the early game is a way to trigger the Temple of Destruction, which means we have quite a few cards that on turn 1 can actually go ahead and give us that Force. A-Wing, Attune Fearnock, and N1 Starfighter. Unfortunately, Sabine doesn't actually do it because it's not combat damage that she does 3 of. She does 2 combat damage, then 1 extra one to the base or to the defender. So a little bit unfortunate there, but there's not that many amazing 3 power units on turn 1 for this color combination that I want to be running. And so at least we have 9 different units that we can utilize. Between Millennium Falcon, Vernestra, and Cassian, we actually have a lot of immediately readied up damage. And then the ability to exhaust things allows us to actually get them in. For our late game, we've got things like K2 to get in Durant damage when he dies. QUINLAN with Trust Your Instincts and Surprise Strike can get in for massive chunks. Asajj Ventress can go ahead and bump up Ezra, Vernestra, Cal, QUINLAN, etc. And even Plo Koon as an ambusher later on in the game. So the idea here is, well, hopefully we can kind of just put on a lot of pressure in the early game, disrupt my opponent with Sorcerous Blast and Exhausts, get in even more damage, and then when it comes to kind of the mid portion of the game, hopefully use cards like Millennium Falcon, Vernestra, and Cassian to close out because they're immediately readied up. That's the game plan. Let's see what we can do with it. Alrighty, get to dive into our first game up against a real tough matchup. Actually, this is going to be really, really tough. I think that I can keep this hand, but I think we're going to need a little bit more of a interactive heavy hand. This one is okay, I suppose. Resource the A-Wing and the N1 here because we have duplicates of them both. The Force Throw obviously is going to be good with Cal Kestis, and we can generate the Force, which is not going to be bad. But they have initiative, and they can immediately go like Jedi Consular into gaining the Force, and then it's kind of really rough. Ooh, and your Storer here is actually going to be pretty rough for us as well, as we are the aggressors in this matchup. Adi Gallia looks pretty good. Cassian is a nice little value smuggle option. I do like Adi Gallia plus Force Throw, which is definitely going to do some work here, but we will see what my opponent decides to do here on turn number 2. Obi-Wan Blue is just tough. This matchup is just real tough. We'll see what we can do in terms of being able to outrun our opponent. Waiting for my opponent to take an action here. They are thinking through what options they have. Obviously, yeah, Sentinel. Going to be pretty rough for us to deal with. Let's go ahead and attack it for 3. They can go ahead and then attack with Yaddle. We'll see what they decide to do. Wouldn't be surprised if they just use the action here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a little bit of damage. Let's go with Adi Gallia. And I will force throw my opponent, right? There is like nothing else that we could really do here besides force throw our opponent, because we have Cal to deploy, so we need to get through this Sentinel. Obi-Wan being a Sentinel here is just incredibly brutal for our overall game plan. Restoring plus the Sentinel is just obnoxious. They should immediately put an experience token on the Obi-Wan. There isn't really a decision to be making here. That's just what you got to do. I mean, even if I had Waylay here, it's just a free experience token realistically. And I deal 2 damage to the Obi-Wan, and then we're going to pass. We've got Trust Your Instincts. That was a pretty amazing draw, actually. That's a card that definitely can do some work here. We could actually one-shot the Obi-Wan, but now they have the 4 damage on Obi-Wan, which means they can kill our Adi Gallia, and we are kind of in the struggle. Let's go ahead and use Cal's action just to exhaust the Yaddle, prevent the restoring from coming in. I mean, if you look at what this game is, we now cannot get through Obi-Wan without our Cal just dying. That's kind of the unfortunate circumstance that we find ourselves in a lot of these games because of the stat line on my unit here. Let's go ahead and deploy Cal. I could put BD1 on him, which wouldn't be horrible, but yeah, I mean, they just have so much restore. I mean, there isn't much that we can do. Let's go with Vernestra. Ready the unit, attack, play BD1, and then attack in for 4 into the base. Trust Your Instincts, double Sabine. I mean, our hand it's not bad. I mean, we can do a lot of damage to their base, but they started out with such an incredible start. This is like the start for Obi-Wan is you want turn 2 play with 4 toughness. Restoring is perfect into a turn 2 Sentinel to stall it out. That's exactly where we want to be, right? It doesn't even matter what their next play was. That was already good enough to make us really struggle here. We'll see what we can do. They can obviously knock out BD1. We just did it to get an extra point of damage and maybe to stall an action. They're going to knock out BD1 as expected. We do get to go Trust Your Instincts here, so we will be able to have them exhaust their Yoda, which is actually a pretty decent spot, right? Like I do like that. But we'll see what they have to follow up here. They got a Jedi Con, so we're going to go Sabine Wren. They can go on and deploy Obi-Wan and do some work there. We're just going to go Trust Your Instincts here. Well, do we want to, actually? They're going to put an experience token on. That's fine. I'm just going to go Trust Your Instincts. I'm just going to push in as much damage as possible. Hit in for 5. And, I mean, we might be able to rush them down, right? I mean, if we get Surprise Strike here or something like that, that could be pretty good. They got General's Blade. Yep, pretty fantastic draw for my opponent. They have the General's Blade on top of it to knock out our Cal Kestis, which would have been a nice unit to be left behind. Although that's a pretty good start. That's a pretty good start, actually. If they don't have removal for my units here, that's actually GG. If they have removal for the N1 Starfighter, it is GG for us. And my opponent does have the ability to deploy Luke this turn, so wow. Yeah, I mean, we may have gotten there with a Trust Your Instincts. That was an incredible spot for us to pick that up. So really, really good stuff for these cards. We just drew really well at the end here. My opponent thinking. I don't think the resource here is going to be all that important, but you know what? We'll wait for our opponent to see what they can do. I mean, obviously, N1 is literally the name of the game. If they kill N1, we lose. There's like no way around it, really. Like, we could draw a Millennium Falcon plus Surprise Strike, and that might get us there. But you see what's going to happen here is, oh, yeah, that's GG too. There isn't really much that we could do here. We're going to make them exhaust a unit, but the fact that they can heal up, this Yaddle is going to give this restore, this restore, this restore, and now they're going to be able to heal for 1, 4, 5 HP, and that is just an absolute nightmare, right? Just an absolute nightmare. Yeah, there isn't really much else that we can do here. We're going to force throw my opponent just to get the last card out of their hand. It's a Chirrut. Doesn't really matter. Again, if we draw a Surprise Strike here or another Trust Your Instincts, we win. No, Trust Your Instincts doesn't even work. It's Surprise Strike or bust. The restoring here, wow. Trust Your Instincts almost there. I mean, we can ready up Cassian, but that's going to get killed by Obi-Wan. We just did not get there. We were really, really close, but we did not get there. GG to my opponent. The fact that they had the lightsaber was just enough to get them to the finish line. Whew, that was a close game against one of the better decks in the format for sure. On to the next match. We got Thrawn Yellow coming in, and it's an okay hand. I'm not like super excited about it. I mean, do I want to be playing Cassian on turn 2? Not really. I think I can mulligan for a better hand. This one looks very, very mediocre. This one I do like, actually. A lot more. A lot more. I'm going to resource the Vambrace Flamethrower. I do like Vambrace Flamethrower when you're exhausting units, but this one's got, you know, Audigulia plus Force Throw on the next turn, or Audigulia into Vernestra, but you can't actually generate the Force token with Audigulia, which is a little bit unfortunate. So we'll see what we can do here. Desperate Commando, very, very solid units. Can definitely do some work here. Waiting for my opponent to claim initiative here. Nothing else that they can do. There we are. Millennium Falcon, Ezra. I actually really like Millennium Falcon in later stages, but not right now. I'm going to mulligan that one. I'd rather keep the Vernestra and just go for a ground-based strategy. Here, any event that they have is going to be pretty good for us because we can just ping them for a little bit of damage. They're going to go ahead and kill off Audigulia. Pretty straightforward stuff, guys. I mean, this is classic, absolute classic. Thrawn, power the dark side, yep. And now I feel like we're losing pretty hard. That's just kind of the nature of the game. We're going to deploy K2. My opponent's just going to be removing units, playing the Thrawn value game. And that is kind of the way things go. Us not having initiative is pretty brutal because we could have, I mean, realistically, we probably wouldn't have Force Thrown. Even though we could have potentially saved our Audigulia. It's not that great for us to do. So I probably wouldn't have initiative, probably wouldn't have changed anything. We would have just gotten 2 more damage onto the base. Let's see what my opponent's going to do here, though. Legacy Run is the card that we would be scared of for sure. Legacy Run into defeating it is pretty obnoxious. Waiting for my opponent to take an action here. We will deploy Cal Kestis. I mean, there isn't really anything else for us to do besides just deploying our units, right? That is the name of the game. We are going to attack their base because we will deploy Vernestra next turn. Okay, that's actually a really nice combination of cards. I really like Asajj here. If we lose Cal Kestis, which is very possible we do with like a takedown here, we at least can play Vernestra plus the 2 other cards here. And that could do really good work as well. Force Throw isn't actually that exciting of a card. Okay, there is the no glory only results. Sure. They're going to make us discard. No glory only results is absolutely fantastic up against us. With K2SO, of course. Again, Force Throw does not really matter here. They're going to make us discard another card. Yep. I trust your instinct's going to be pretty mediocre. Thrawn with no glory on the results, absolutely amazing, by the way. I was just hoping that they didn't have it. We didn't really have many other options, right? That was like as best as we could do, was just play our units out and then hope that they don't have it, but they did. Let's go ahead and attack base for 5, get the force back, and then we will pass. I will go ahead and just... I mean, we have the Cassian deploy. Yeah, I think I'll resource the Sabine here. And we have the Hotshot Blaster plus the Cassian as options to deploy here. I might go Hotshot Blaster plus Vernestra on this turn. That seems pretty good for us. 6 resources. My opponent could have a lot of different things. They haven't had the Legacy Run yet. If they had the Legacy Run and knock out these 2 units, it's probably GG. No glory on the results was just absolutely fantastic for them, of course. But at least we still have somewhat of a chance so far in the game, which, you know, at least we've got something going for us, you know, like that's all I can really hope for here, huh? They're going to attack in for a little bit of damage. I'm going to go play Vernestra here. Again, I can't be playing around if they have Legacy Run. It's just the nature of the game. If they play Legacy Run, we lose the game. We just need to be pumping in damage right now, and that is the ultimate goal. See what my opponent has here. We have the Hotshot Blaster, as I mentioned. Vigilance, huh? Oof, Vigilance is real brutal for us as well. Let's go ahead and attack it with Asajj and play Hotshot Blaster. They're going to heal 5, of course. I mean, it's very obvious that they're going to heal 5. Let's go with attack for 5, give +2/+0, and then we will attack it for 7 with the Vernestra. This prevents my opponent from actually killing the Vernestra and not losing their Thrawn, which is nice. Okay, waiting for my opponent. Easy, it's an easy trade. It's like not even a question. My opponent, they're such in a great position right now. Playing the controlling game plan up against what we had was just absolutely fantastic. Yep, like I said, not a question. Just kill the Vernestra. Sorceress Blast, pretty weak in general here on this stage of the game. We're going to get in for 5. I'm going to play the Cassian, play the Sabine, and maybe that's enough to get us there. Surprise Strike, Trust Your Instincts. Those are the cards I want now. I did resource or discard one earlier because I wanted to favor some other options. I think K2SO was going to be a pretty solid one. We haven't even been able to use Calcastis' ability because my opponent is just playing the controlling game plan, which is exactly what Thrawn tends to do anyways, so no surprises there. Asajj has done some good work this game. I mean, it has gotten in an extra 4 damage, so this is responsible for a massive chunk. So really good stuff. Gave up the +2 power to Cal, and then the +2 power to the Vernestra. All right, opponent, what do you got? You got 6 cards in hand. You got to have something here. Millennium Falcon would also be a great draw. Vernestra would be a great draw. Any readied up unit immediately would be great. Okay, they're going to play Vigilance to do what? Heal 5 damage. That's all they got. Maybe they have Super Laser Blast. I don't really know. They're going to make us discard, I suppose. Let's go with Cassian here to get in for 3. Seems like a very weak play, and I will not play another unit out because I imagine my opponent's just going to Super Laser Blast us here, which is fine. Again, not all that crazy. If they don't have Super Laser Blast, I feel like we're in a pretty good spot. I mean, they may not have Super Laser Blast. Maybe they're relying on Legacy Run and that type of stuff and other controlling effects. And maybe it was better to play Sabine Wren out. But nope, there's the Super Laser Blast as I had kind of expected. Get in some plays here. Play, pass, resource. Actually, I'm going to resource the Cassian here, because we can't just play out the Hotshot Blaster as a 1 resource play. Whereas the Cassian gets immediately readied up. So yeah, Cassian into the resource pile seems pretty good. They could have another Super Laser Blast, but we'll see. We have a lot of readied up units immediately. Millennium Falcon, Vernestra, and Cassian all immediately readied up, which is really, really powerful, actually. And in Vernestra's case, if you have an Asajj, that could be really, really strong. Attack for 5. Not bad at all. Opponent could have no glory only results, which would be pretty devastating, to be honest. I think if they do that, we discard these 2 and then rely on Cassian plus Hotshot to get in for 5 plus 3. That puts them at 26. It's not bad at all. Sneak Attack Snoke. Well, Sneak Attack Snoke is very, very good. I think I will make them exhaust their Snoke here. 2 resources is not enough to usually do things, and this will prevent them from killing my K2. I suppose the A-Wing would have been the better play in light of the Snoke. I should have thought about the Snoke here, but my opponent has to exhaust the Snoke. I'm not sure what's the slowdown on that one. They only have 1 unit to choose from, which means that our K2SO is going to live, which isn't that bad at all. And I mean, we have enough plays here to where I think what I want to do is just play out these 2 instead of playing out the Cassian, because the Cassian will get immediately readied up. And if I don't play out these 2 and I play out Cassian, I will not be able to play out one of these. So I think it's going to be better for us. We're going to attack in for 2 here, and then play out 2 units that do live through the what's it called, the Snoke. And now, I mean, they could have no glory only results. Like I said, that is a card that they could have, but I'm feeling pretty good about it, even if they do have that. Obviously, had we gotten the 3 damage in with K2SO earlier, it would have been so much better for us. No legacy runs yet, but my opponents have fought through a lot of things so far. It's been pretty rough for us to fight through. See what my opponent's got. BD1 is also a pretty great draw. Just another way to get in +1 damage. And if they have a Sentinel, we can get past it. Merciless Contest. I think here I'll defeat the Sabine. And then I will just surprise strike in for 7. This sets up the potential for a Cassian deploy to kill or an A-Wing attack to kill, which are both very viable options. Well, it looks like we're winning. My opponent never drew the legacy run. They had the controlling start, but we just kind of grinded them through. And the fact that we have so many immediately readied up units is really, really strong. So Really good stuff there. Come on, opponent. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. I mean, I don't know how they win at this point because we have the immediately readied up Cassian and we have the K2SO. Oh, they just claim initiative. All right, well, GG. So GG to my opponent. And no legacy run. That would have been scary. Talk about a deck that is scary. We've got ourselves the Obi-Wan over there, and we've mulliganed into a hand with no turn one play. I was really not looking for Adi Gallia in this matchup. It was just going to be too weak. And now, I mean, we have nothing and we just lose, really. Like, no turn one play means that we've basically just lost the game. Yeah, it is going to be really brutal to come back at this point. We're going to play it out, though. Sometimes, you know, you just have those draws. My opponent going to be able to attack and deal some damage to us. We'll take initiative, but yeah, not looking exciting at all. Obi-Wan is the card that we're scared of. I mean, it's going to be a 4-powered unit. It is so good. So good. Yeah, let's go ahead and, I mean, I guess we'll resource the A. No, I really want the A-Wing. Sorcerer's Blast is probably the resource here. Let's go ahead and attack in for 3. I mean, we can leave it on top of our deck, but Cal Kestis cannot kill Obi-Wan Kenobi. It is nightmare scenario for us at this current moment. It is nightmare scenario. Oh, wow. I didn't expect them to attack just straight up with Obi-Wan. I would have expected them, if they were going to attack, to kill Ezra. Let's go ahead and exhaust the Gunji so they at least can't attack with it. And then we'll deploy Cal. And I suppose attack their base. Just get in for 3 points. Ooh, Sundari Peacekeepers. Amazing here. Again, any restorer means that we can't cheese out some wins potentially. Plo Koon can knock out Obi-Wan, I suppose. But again, that Obi-Wan. Guys, that Sentinel body, so disgusting in Obi-Wan. Just completely changes the nature of the game. For us, specifically. See what my opponent's going to do. They have Force Throw. Are they Force Throwing themselves? They definitely should. Bombing Run, huh? I mean, yeah, they Bombing Run us. That's funny. It's actually really funny. Okay, let's go ahead and... I mean, we can play Trust Your Instincts. I mean, what do we want to do here? I guess we could play Plo Koon. Trigger, kill Obi-Wan so we don't have another Sentinel body getting the best of us. That's a lot of Trust Your Instincts, by the way. And we do have to hit their base to generate the Force for us. But I think we just want to be as resource efficient as possible. Let's go ahead and I think what we want to do is attack base here. Oh, surprise strike, huh? I think that's the only way we win is if we cheese out like a billion different combat tricks and we have our units alive and my opponent doesn't attack them. That's at least as far as I can figure out here. That's how we win. My opponent's got 4 resources still, which means they have so many different opportunities to do whatever they really want. And that would be very, very scary. And deploy, or they're going to put experience token over on Sundari Peacekeeper, probably. Let's attack in for 4. They can knock out K2SO if they want to. No, they're just going to ignore us and hit base. I mean, you know what? Fair enough. My opponent is just racing us. And they probably will win because of the extra experience. And more importantly, the restoring going on. The Sentinel body, meaning that we had to interact with them to actually close out the game. And they got a Ki-Adi-Mundi to draw a couple extra cards. I mean, honestly, though, Ki-Adi-Mundi is not scary whatsoever. This is definitely not a bad spot to be in. That's going to be a 7 damage or an 8 damage hit here from the Plo Koon. And I mean, technically, we have a shot. I mean, we technically have a shot here. Trust Your Instincts in for a little bit of damage. I mean, do we want to play that? I suppose we will play it. It's kind of a free play. And we have lethal. We have lethal. My opponent literally just needs to kill my K2SO and we lose. Like, that's all they need to do. Well, not necessarily, because... Okay, they're racing, because if we exhaust the unit, then they couldn't win. And we actually had enough combat tricks to win there. I think my opponent made a bunch of mistakes with the with the actual attacks. They could have just killed my units and we would have lost because of their higher value toughness. Like right here, Sundari Peacekeeper kills Ezra. Free kill plus the restore 2. The Obi-Wan, instead of attacking base, just kills Ezra. Like all that type of stuff. We just wouldn't have units. Plo Koon would have been less valuable. It would have just been disgustingly rough for us to do anything there, for us to win. But yeah, bombing run. I love that. I love the bombing run. But we got there, I guess. We shouldn't have, but we got there. Alrighty, into the next game. Up against Snoke. I'm not a huge fan of this hand. The turn... Oh my gosh. Another hand where it's we did not get a turn 1 play. I know we had one beforehand, but it's pretty unlikely for us to do that. I mean, I guess we get rid of the surprise strike and we just pass. Claim initiative. Benthic 2 tubes. My opponent's gonna be on the aggressive strategy, huh? Not all that exciting. I don't think I care for Millennium Falcon here. Yeah, let's go with A-Wing. Man, we're literally just a turn behind. We're not even gonna get full value out of our resources this turn. Woo. Brutal. K2 gonna be the resource here. I mean, I think what we have to do is attack for 3 and then hope that we can get some value done with our units here. I mean, we're gonna play Vernestra. Ready up Vernestra. Play Cal. We could Sorceress blast away the Cartel Interceptor. Yeah, they're gonna get an extra resource. Sure. Attack for 3. They can play Benthic and attack into Vernestra. I mean, that's a good trade for us. Like, I'm totally fine with that. Deploy Cal. Sorceress blast away the Cartel Interceptor. Attack in for 3. Pass. That's another Quinlan Voss. No events here. That's what we're really hoping for, to be honest. Are they deploying? Wow, I don't think you do that because it's just going to get exhausted by Cal. That's brutal. Overwhelming barrage. Well, that makes things make a little bit more sense. They're going to get rid of some units here. We are going to deploy out, I suppose, the Quinlan here. And then we'll pass. Sorceress Blast, Vernestra. Yeah, they can go and attack in with Snoke. If they do, they can kill off Quinlan. Resupply carrier, huh? We're going to attack him with Cal. I mean, we're going to exhaust the Snoke again. I don't know if that's what they should have been doing. I think they should just attack into Quinlan. Because now what's going to happen is we kill off the Benthic 2 tubes, attack in for 8. And that's kind of a massive chunk. And now, I mean, we have multiple readied up units here with the Vernestra and Millennium Falcon. I mean, I think we're in an amazing spot. My opponent had a double overwhelming barrage too, which is crazy, by the way. And I still think we are absolutely crushing this game. So we're going to be able to go Vernestra here, readied up. And then we win the game. I didn't think my opponent had anything based on what they were playing, like Benthic 2 tubes in your deck. It was a little bit of a all over the place kind of strategy. I wasn't really sure what to expect. When I saw Benthic 2 tubes, I was expecting full on aggro, Death Star Stormtrooper, you know, First Legion Stormtrooper, that type of effect. But these things can't even, you know, get the experience token from Snoke. Neither can the Cartel Interceptor, but they did have the double overwhelming barrage, which almost saved them. But yeah, the Cal Kestis attack really disrupted the Snoke attack, which is nice, I suppose. So good on us, I guess. All right, another game, another turn with no turn 1 plays, and we mulligan and another hand with no turn 1 plays. Guys, this is not at all how it should be. Okay, let's go ahead and claim initiative, I suppose. That is incredibly unlucky. You know, sometimes it just happens, though. It just happens. Okay, I mean, we're gonna play out a Cassian here. Wow, that is brutal. Where's my turn 1 plays, guys? It's like a 97% chance if you don't have one, at least in your opening hand, and you mulligan. It is crazy unlikely to have this happen. Let's go ahead and attack in for 3. They're gonna be able to attack with Yoda to, you know, oh, they're gonna attack with Yaddle. I would have imagined they attacking with Yoda, because now what we could do is just exhaust the Yoda. And then we could do a couple different things. We can deploy Cal. And we deploy Cal. I suppose we could attack into their base. I mean, do I care about them playing force units and then getting Luke huge? I don't think I can. I don't think I can afford to, unfortunately. Just not having that turn 1 play just slowed us down so significantly much that it's really tough for us to be able to do anything else. Force throw, not going to be all that great here. Paladin training Corvette, huh? That's awesome. Now I can use the force to one-shot Luke, which might actually be the game plan. I think I will do that, actually. Let's go ahead and knock out Luke here and not take any damage. I think that is the game plan. Now, whatever they choose, if they decide to attack, I mean, we just attack in with our unit here, and they get their Yaddle exhausted, and we can go force throw on my opponent. I suppose we could force throw ourselves here, which would be pretty good. Discard, kill off Yoda. Then we play Vernestra for an immediately readied up 3 damage. Attack, attack. I mean, that was a pretty good turn. That was definitely a pretty good turn. I mean, we're going to keep all of our cards. We could put a Vambrace Flamethrower on something here. Their 3-powered unit, not enough to actually kill any of our units, which is really nice. That 4th point of toughness coming in clutch here. We will just go ahead and surprise strike in with Vernestra here. Get in for 6 damage. You're my only hope, huh? I mean, they can't play anything too crazy. Jedi Guardian is not scary whatsoever. It's not a scary play whatsoever. And I mean, we have lethal. We have lethal with Vambrace Flamethrower on our Cal Kestis. Yeah, that's GG. I mean, we attack in with Cal Kestis. We can deal 3 damage to Yaddle. That's fine. And then we got the... Oh, wait. Did they heal? Oh, this is a Jedi. I forgot that the Paladin Trading Corvette's a Jedi. So the Yaddle gives it Restore 1. That is not something that I was expecting. Crazy, by the way. That is so funny. Wow. Funny stuff. Doesn't do anything really, though. We could still win the game. But I forgot that is a Jedi. That is funny. Good stuff from our opponent. I was a little bit worried there, but again, another player that just could have just attacked our units, I feel like, and we would have struggled a lot, especially in a deck where you're playing Yoda, where you have that guaranteed, if I flip Yoda and at least have a turn with him, I'm probably winning. In Yaddle's case, you just you start attacking, and you start attacking. I would have probably just immediately attacked the Cassian, and then with the Yoda, I would have attacked the Cassian too. Just start to get some damage out on there. Attack something, right? Cal Kestis even. Which would have been even a better target. But anyways, we got there. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and see what we've got here. Infused Brawler actually looks pretty good with this hand. I think the Attuned Fear Knock is going to be horrible up against Maul. So definitely going to resource that. And I think I'm going to resource this BD1. A-Wing looks great here. Get the resource or get the Force. Use Infused Brawler to generate a little bit of value here. And then we could even force throw afterwards. Yeah, this looks like a pretty good hand. Couple more events. I mean, I'm getting a little worried that we're not going to be able to have anything to play on the following turn. But I mean, Infused Brawler is quite solid. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and give that 2 experience tokens. Opponent can use Maul's action, and then we will just go force throw immediately. Infused Brawler looks great, though. 4 for 2 is definitely a good, efficient use of our resources. Shin Hati here. All right, let's force throw my opponent. And I think we're just going to be getting rid of that shield token from Shin. We'll see, though. We will see. Surprise strike. Yep, we're going to get rid of that shield token. Shin is great against us, by the way. That shield token with high amount of power is pretty nice. Vernestra. I mean, I think I'm going to resource the Vernestra because I like the K2SO in this spot. No Maul action, though, which is a little bit surprising. I think my opponent's just going to be trading, though. Pretty typical here. I think my opponent's definitely in the defensive spot, so we'll see. Just use Shin to trade with the Infused Brawler. Makes a lot of sense to me. Yep. Let's go ahead and attack it with the A-Wing, get in our 3 points of damage, and we'll see what my opponent's got here to follow up. the Dooku would be, or Darth Tyrannus specifically, would be absolutely nasty for us to deal with. So I'm hoping that that's not the case, but you never know. You never know. Sand Trooper Cavalry, huh? Interesting. All right, well, let's use the Cal Kestis action. Make sure we can't get in or hit this for 2 with the Acolyte of the Beyond. Waiting for my opponent to exhaust the only unit they have. They can use the Darth Maul action if they want to. Wow, I'm actually surprised that they did. I think I would have passed if I were them, because I have 4 resources up, so I'm guaranteed to play another play here. And then they hit, you know, maybe it's a Cal Kestis that I deploy next, and that means that they can just knock it out. So I think that I definitely would have played it a little bit differently than my opponent would. I'm going to keep my unit here, because I think the space units are going to be the kind of my out if I lose both my ground units, which is very likely to happen here. My opponent can attack with Acolyte, then use Darth Maul action, then knock out a unit with Sand Trooper Cavalry, which is good, but I mean, we can attack with Cal Kestis and prevent the Sand Trooper Cavalry from attacking in the first place. So I think we're in a pretty good spot here. Yep, they're going to do exactly that. We are going to just trust your instincts, exhaust the Sand Trooper Cavalry to prevent it from attacking. I think if there's a game plan where my opponent just immediately attacks with the Sand Trooper Cavalry to guarantee that at least gets a hit in, because now it won't, which is pretty good for us. We're going to attack with K2SO. I mean, in theory, we have 10 damage on board, which would be pretty nice in this spot. We're going to attack in for 7. And I mean, K2SO plus 3 damage when it dies. My opponent's probably not going to have a lot of things to deal with that. And I mean, we're going to deploy another A-Wing here. My opponent going to use Darth Maul to probably knock out both these units, but then we have A-Wing in space, and I don't know how they deal with all 4 of those threats. Yeah, that's a pretty cool couple of draws as well. I mean, Force Throw not that great here, but K2SO at least is pretty good. And my opponent can attack with Darth Maul, but I mean, they just lose if they do, because we just hit them for 3 and then hit them with an A-Wing. So yeah, I mean, GG. I don't know what my opponent, I mean, I guess they could evacuate. GG to my opponent. Sand Trooper Cavalry. Almost got there, I guess. Into the next game, we got ourselves a matchup up against Cad Bane. I do think this is a little bit of a scary matchup. I like my hand. I'm going to actually resource the Vernestra, because I'm going to go N1 Starfighter and hope my opponent doesn't have an answer for this. And then we go Infuse Brawler plus Force Throw on the next turn. Hopefully my opponent's going to be playing like Pike Sentinel or something like that. They're playing Shadowed Undersea, which makes me think they're going to be playing a Force something. All right, we're going to claim initiative. I am happy with that game action here. Attune Fear Knock looks horrible. They can go in and just play a unit immediately, which would allow them to kill off the N1 Starfighter, which is good for them, no doubt. Like, Cad Bane is kind of an obnoxious leader for us to deal with here. So, unfortunately, going to be the case, but at least we do get the Infused Brawler down. Plus, oh, they're going to attack first. All right, well, I'm happy with that. Infused Brawler making a 4/4 is nice. Yeah, I'm actually very happy with that. Let's go with Force Throw on my opponent. And once again, another player playing Shin Hati, which is really, really solid. We're going to get rid of that shield token here. Pass. Another Attune Fear Knock. Attune Fear Knock looks horrible up against the Cad Bane player. Shin Hati in Cad Bane, though, a little bit odd. I guess they could be playing Darth Tyrannus. They could be playing Always 2 with a bunch of Sith units. I don't really know what my opponent's doing with Shadowed Undersea and Cad Bane. It could be a lot of different things. Forlom, huh? They're just going to trade. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah, they're going to be able to delete 2 units. Like, that is kind of what Cad Bane does. I think if this Shin was just an Underworld unit, we would be in big trouble. But I guess I'll take it, you know? I'll take it. Deploy Cal. Get in for 3. Trust your instincts. Killing Shin is actually really, really solid here. Asajj. I mean, I think I should resource Asajj. Cal is probably just going to die here. My opponent could have so many different things. They could have Tal's Assassin. They could have Darth Tyrannus. I mean, they have so many different... Yep, there's the Darth Tyrannus. And they're going to knock out K2, I imagine. Or maybe just Cal. Okay, Cal's down. Let's go trust your instincts on Shin. He's going to get in for 4 into the base. Very much not a Cad Bane deck, but had enough Cad Bane actions between the Aura Sing and all that to do some good work. So, you know, they barely are getting there here. Claim initiative. I could have kept Asajj, but it wouldn't really have done anything. So that would have been pretty mediocre. What do I want to do here? So I can just kill off the Darth Tyrannus, I guess. Deal 3 to opponent's base. I don't like my spot at all, by the way. Play K2. Use Cal's action. And then they could do whatever they want. But at least we have another turn potentially. No, they have another Darth Tyrannus. Oof. Oof. All right. Darth Tyrannus part 2 coming in. Doing some massive work for them. Very, very odd game for sure. I honestly just didn't know what my opponent was going to do, and that's GG. They just attack with everything. I didn't know what my opponent was going to do, although I expected them to be playing Darth Tyrannus, Tal's Assassin, that type of stuff, and they were, and those are good cards, and that's basically just what won the game. Okay, into the next matchup, and we get ourselves a reasonable hand. I actually don't care for the Millennium Falcon here, so I'm going to go A-Wing or N1, plus Sorceress Blast on the next turn, plus the other one. And then I'll have Force Throw for when Cal deploys. Up against Obi-Wan Yellow, which is a scary deck. It is a very scary deck. We've already saw Obi-Wan with the Obi-Wan aggression earlier, which is obviously quite good. But yeah, my opponent, Youngling Padawan, gets it immediately 3-4 on turn 1. So gonna just start off pretty strong. We're gonna go ahead and claim initiative. And my opponent off to the races already. Another Millennium Falcon. I mean, Force Throw honestly is looking worse and worse here. But maybe it's just the Asajj. I mean, actually, Asajj looks pretty bad too. At least in our specific hand, because we're going for more of a space-based game plan here. General's Blade. Okay, that actually works out, because we can go ahead and use the Force to exhaust the Youngling Padawan to at least stall out 1 turn. N1 Starfighter pass. There's the Vambrace Flamethrower. I mean, Vambrace Flamethrower plus Force Throw could potentially get rid of the Youngling Padawan. The only problem with this is, as with every General's Blade deck, they can play a 6-drop this turn, which is very, very obnoxious. So we'll see what they have. General's Blade coming in, hitting for 6, as per usual. There we go. And then we will attack it for 3, generate the Force for us, and then we'll see what my opponent does have. The Vambrace Flamethrower plus Force Throw is pretty solid, though. We just don't have a lot of expensive stuff to discard, so we, even if discarded the Millennium Falcon, couldn't knock out the Youngling Padawan with discarding ourselves. We're just going to have to hope that my opponent has like a 4-drop or more, or maybe play something else that we can knock out at least, right? Jedi Consular. All right, I'm gonna attack in for 3 because I don't have any way to use this Force here really. So are they gonna ready up Vernestra? I think that would be a good play. Although we have the Cal Kestis action, so we could just, you know, unready it. So maybe it's actually not a good play now that I think about it. Let's go Vambrace Flamethrower, and let's go to Force Through my opponent here. Let's see what they have to discard. Jedi Consular, huh? I mean, I think that's not that great for them. What do I want to do here? I think we'll just deal 2 to Vernestra, attack into base, deal 2 here, and then 1 to the Youngling Padawan, I suppose, and then pass. Not an amazing spot for us by any means. My opponent's just going to kill off Cal Kestis here with an attack, but them only having a 2-drop Jedi Consular is not exactly what I wanted to see. And it's not like discarding our own Millennium Falcon would have given us a better result, which is kind of what I was thinking about. So yeah, it's worth discarding my opponent there, but not good enough still. I think if you're my opponent, you just immediately attack Cal Kestis. The only way you lose this game is if you get ran down. I mean, there is an argument, depending on their hand. If I'm looking at board right now, I mean, they could have so many different things with Jedi Concert, right? But I do think, yeah, they even have a better play, which is to knock out my unit without actually doing a whole lot. Yeah, that is unfortunate. Sorceress blast away the Plo Koon. Doing this before because we need to generate the force again with the N1 Starfighter just in case we draw Trust Your Instincts. Attack in for 3. Play at K2. My opponent attacks in for 2. Okay. Plo Koon, huh? Not really what I wanted to see. How does this game go? So we attack in for 4. I mean, we don't have the win. We do not have the win. So what happens here? We attack in for 4 into the base. They get up to 23. They attack us for 6. I mean... No, we have to play Plo Koon first. Because we have lethal on board. We have to make sure my opponent doesn't disrupt it at all and can't attack in with everything. So we have to attack in, or we have to play Plo Koon to remove one of the units. Then they attack with a Youngling Padawan, and then we have to use Cal Kestis' action to exhaust the Jedi Consular. And this is just dealing with the board on hand. If they have something like a Torrent attack, for example, or a blue leader, it is just rough for us. My opponent, I mean, I'm very happy with the decision they decided to make here. We'll use Cal Kestis' action to exhaust the Jedi Consular, make sure they can't play any 8 drops like Yoda. Yoda would obviously... well, Yoda's not actually that great because they don't have the... Ooh, okay, they have Ahsoka. So here's the risky play. I attack with a unit, which gives me guaranteed lethal with both of these two. Or I just claim initiative and then try to attack with Plo Koon. I think... because they don't kill me in one action, I think it's pretty safe to just claim initiative. Yeah, great. I was going to say, we could also draw, like, Trust Your Instincts or... well, Surprise Strike is really what I'm looking for, not Trust Your Instincts. Great. Plo Koon attack finishes off the game. Not bad, guys. Not bad. Cal Kestis doing some work here, huh? Wow. 6 damage in. GG. GG. Not bad at all. I mean, the Jedi Consular turn plus the Vernestra with the General's Blade wasn't the greatest. But, I mean, the Cal Kestis action did do work against General's Blade in general. And we had a nice space start, which means they didn't have as much interaction to deal with that. Not bad at all. Very, very exciting. All right, and to finish us off today, we've got a fun one at the end here. We got Wat Tambor Tarkatam versus the Force Cal Kestis. No Turbine play. Let's go to Mulligan. 82% chance, by the way. Well, actually, it's more than that. That's based off of just a singular or a 12 different turn 1 plays, and we have more than that. Surprise Strike going to be the resource. Attune Fear Knock, not a card I necessarily want up against Wat Tambor, because my opponent's probably playing more... yeah, oh my gosh. Attune Fear Knock up against Droid Deployment is like the worst thing ever. They have Porg. All right. I'm surprised they deployed another thing, to be honest. What do they have? Do they have something to exploit here on turn 1? That would be sick. Oh my gosh. I love it. I absolutely love it. That is so funny. All right. Well, my opponent dropping in the Squadron of Vultures on turn 1. I guess doing some work. Let's just drop in an Ezra here, and then maybe we deploy Force Throw and then Force Throw my opponent's last card. We will see. All right, alrighty. Let's. I mean, I think I'm the controlling player here with what my opponent has just played in this game. I think I killed Modi and then deploy maybe Quinlan or Vernestra plus Force Throw. I mean, Cal Kestis' action works exceptional for us right now, so they can't even use Wat Tambor's action because what we can do is just, well, exhaust, and now they can't even attack with a squadron of vultures. They can use Tarkin Town to knock out my Ezra. But that's okay. That gets rid of the Tarkin Town, which we don't have to worry about that anymore. And my opponent, I mean, based on what they're doing here, probably has like a bunch of random stuff going on. So I think I like my position here pretty nicely, in fact. Yeah, we'll see what my opponent's got. They got 2 cards left in hand. I mean, I could force throw myself to get rid of the squadron of vultures. I'm going to attack him for 4 here. They're going to claim initiative. All right. I mean, I'm going to force throw myself. It's going to deploy Kestis. We're going to force through us to discard the... I mean, I guess we could discard Quinlan Voss, right? And then Vernestra readied up immediately. Attack it for 3. Attack it for 3. Pass. And I mean, that's a pretty good start, guys. That's a pretty good start. We got Plo Koon to kill Wat Tambor as soon as he comes down. I mean, they did the game plan. Pouring droid deployment on turn 1 into Squadron of Vultures turn 1 is cool, but I don't know how you're winning games if that's your game plan up against this meta. It is tough to do that. Really fun kind of game plan for my opponent, though. I think that's kind of cool. Alrighty, what did we learn with Cal Kestis? Was actually pretty sweet, to be honest. It did some pretty good work. We were able to get down very aggressive and very fast. I'm always curious, though, like if I were to, like, let's say take this deck and play another Cunning Leader, would it be just a little bit better? That's always the question with a lot of these early deploys. Like if I were to take this exact list and then just put Quinlan in it, is it better? I actually don't think so. I don't think that Quinlan, specifically with this force-based list, is better than Cal. I think the fact that you're using a force base to get Cal's trigger to actually activate is the thing that makes Cal strong. Quinlan definitely works better with Tarkin Town, and it's probably just an overall better deck if you're going to go with Cunning Aggression, but it's a different strategy. So I think Cal Kestis does have a little bit of a niche in the game plan. I wish we had a better upgrade to utilize. Vambrace Flamethrower definitely came in clutch in some of those games, but there wasn't really an upgrade in Cunning and Aggression that I'm excited about playing that's like not just +2/+2 or +3/+3. And in some cases, +3/+2 doesn't even exist in Cunning Aggression. So it's really tough to find any sort of upgrade like the Fallen Lightsabers or the Dark Sabers of the world that I really wanted to utilize to get in early damage. That's one of the big strengths of a 4-to-deploy leader, is that it's likely to be able to get an upgrade down and then do some good work with it. On another note, I mean, you know, getting down plays and then having all these readied up units immediately, like Cassian, Millennium Falcon, and Vernestra later on in the game, and then like trust your instincts, just bashing in for a ton of damage, in some cases, you know, crushing through some units. It worked really well with K2SO to be able to overwhelm into their base for 3 points of damage to generate force again for us. There's a lot of good things about it overall that it did some good work. And honestly, it did better than I thought it was going to, which is nice. That said, hopefully you all enjoyed your Cal Kestis gameplay. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all for the next one.